Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're returning. As usual, I'm going to start the video by showing you a few of the things I'm using. I'm going to use that disco liner, purple. I made this little glitter by myself. Once the video gets rolling, I'll tell you what's in it. And I'm going to use this lilac lolly, which is NOTPOLISH's purple jelly acrylic that I love and I resist using all the time because I want to use purple every set, but I try to limit myself to I don't count, but maybe every 3 sets or so to not be completely annoying with how much I love purple. So, and this in particular, for example, I want to use this but matte, like right now, back to back. Also, I got a microphone, so I'm sorry if you guys don't hear the crickets and all the other bug zapper and all the other little unmentionables that are always in my voiceovers. But I did a little test run with this and it sounded great. I was surprised. So anyway, I did mention in my other video that I slept wrong on my hand. Today is Tuesday. I did that video on Sunday. I woke up Saturday with the issue. So on Saturday I woke up with my arm being numb because I had slept on it. Within a few hours, all the feeling was back in my arm, and this is my right arm. Today is Tuesday, and I still cannot use my right hand. So I'm really trying to reevaluate or evaluate how I'm going to do nails. I see the doctor Thursday, and I mean, it's obviously some kind of compressed or pinched nerve or something. So, yeah. Of course, there's more details to that, but bottom line is I can't do nails right now unless I do it with my left hand. So I will figure that out. But I have this video. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to give it to you guys on Thursday or wait till Sunday because I only have one more video after this, which is the little patchwork teddy set. And then I'm to the point of, do I try and struggle and do nails on my practice hand with my non-dominant hand until this, I mean, I guess by then I'll have seen a doctor, but yeah. I feel like I should only post 1 video a week and put this one on Sunday and the other one on next Sunday. That way the last 2 videos I have, if I can't do nails again, but that's just not true. I just will not well, I can't do nails anymore. That's not happening. I'll figure out a way. I just will. As far as doing pop-off sets on myself, I've done it before. I've done plenty of times sets on my right hand with my left hand. That's me using my non-dominant hand to apply acrylic. Not a big deal. But I definitely can't do nail art, Frenchies. All the accomplishments I've made thus far this year and getting confident using gel art, I can do it with my left hand. I can become confident. So we'll just see. I don't know. Hopefully that won't go that far. Hopefully this will become unnumb and I can do life moving, but I am really, really going through it. Mental crash outs every other day. Just sharing you guys where I'm at because it might affect my channel as far as how much I post or whatever, and all things are temporary, though. I'll figure it out. So, hopefully I'm going to put this up Thursday, because I mean, the hand is getting better every day. The first day I couldn't feel it at all, and I couldn't do anything. Now I can, open up a bottle of water, hold my coffee cup. I couldn't hold my coffee cup. I would just, the hand just flops. I couldn't feel any of my fingers, anything from the wrist down, and now I can feel everything. And where it's numb is right where my thumb connects to my wrist and on the top of my hand, below my first knuckle of my index. So really on the top of my hand. Like if you imagined laying your hand flat on the table and then laying your head on it, that's the area I was sleeping on. So that's what is going on with me. That's what I'm dealing with. And then back to me mentioning, well, I'll just do nails, pop-off sets on my right hand and get used to doing nails with which I will try. But the thing is since the hand flops, I'm not sure how still I can hold it for application with my left hand, and I'm not sure how using an e-file would be. But, you know, I mean, it's very, very, very true that everything is content. So I'm not going to stop. Maybe I'll just, you guys let me know, please, actually. That would be really, really nice to hear from you guys. Do you want, like, if I'm going to go in my nail room tomorrow and just start trying, because I already have. I've gone in and I've done a few swatch sticks, and I absolutely cannot do it with my right hand. It's just a hard no. But with my left hand, I can. Do you guys want to see the struggle? Do you guys want to see me trying? Do you want to see the journey? Or do you want me to kind of just pretend like there's nothing wrong and I'm just using my left hand today? I don't know. You tell me if you want to come along with that. I'm not sure how that will look. I really don't know. I feel like my channel is, me personally, am super authentic on my channel as far as sharing things with you guys, but still keeping it about nails. It would definitely be part of my nail journey, so I suppose I should share it and stay authentic like usual. So I'm inclined to do that, even though I hadn't thought of that up until now, literally as I'm talking about it, because up till now, I mean, I have about 4 or 5 sets literally in my head right now that I want to go. I would have already done them. This week I would have done 2 or 3 sets at least, and already have tried being on my 3rd or 4th, I don't know. Okay, so it's just, wow. I can just only hope that the research I've done, you know, and you guys know about my struggles with blood clots, so I was super afraid this was a stroke. But I'm on blood thinners. Like, I've just done a bunch of research, and again, I do see a doctor day after tomorrow. But, and I didn't go to the emergency room because that's just really dramatic, and it's a lot of money, and it's hours and hours and hours of sitting there for just, I'm just mad by the time I even see a doctor. Unless my arm is cut off, I'm just not going to the emergency room. Anyway, research I've done, it simply says it's a compressed nerve. And it should heal in a couple of weeks. And that's it. So that's the best I can hope for. And like I mentioned, I have definitely seen healing and improvement and progress. And I also have done research that says that, you know what, if it doesn't heal, there are ways to fix it. There are, I don't even know what, because I didn't keep researching at that point. I just saw the answer that, yes, it can be medically fixed. So I don't know if that means physical therapy. I've been squeezing a ball, you know, like a stress ball. I've been making myself use it. I could not hold a pen or write anything, but today I had to fill out the packet for the doctor that I'm seeing Thursday. You know, it's a thick packet with your medical history, your family's medical history, all, you know, one of those. And I filled the whole thing out with a pen on my own, which I could not do Sunday at all. I couldn't even hold a pen. I can't put my hair in a ponytail, brush my teeth, like, just name it. And that was very difficult, and the handwriting looks worse than a kindergartner, but I did it, which is progress. So that's what I just have to keep thinking, and that's how I'm going to keep going about it. So, okay. So I just wanted to fill you guys in on what's going on. If I drop off, like if I just can't do nails, if I mentally crash out and I'm in my room and I'm trying to do nails and I just can't do it, and I think, I've already thought to myself, what do I do? Sell everything? What do I do? Sell everything? Like, I've literally, my brain has gone all the way to the fatal side. It's gone all the way to the positive side. I've been angry. I've been fatalistic. I've had a little crash out. I've had a super determined moments, and you know, the bottom line is this is it, and I have to just deal with it. So that's that. So I think I will just do whatever comes and keep it authentic with you guys. So on to the nails. I do want to talk about this acrylic number 1. I don't know if you guys have been noticing the way it lays. Just, you can't mess up with this. Sometimes you get a jelly acrylic from different brands. different brands have jelly acrylics, and there are streaks. The clear is separating, very definitely separating from the pigment. These are not that way. I know you've been seeing me use jellies recently on my channel. I mean, it's summer, but just look at this. I mean, there's absolutely none of that going on. And the beads, it's like working with clear, so it just works so nice. The other thing about this kind of being like working with clear is that, yes, I'm using a glitter mix, but I will not be capping these nails in clear. I'm just going to cap in the purple, because although it's supposed to be sheer, I do like it a little more opaque than just one layer. So I'm just basically capping this little glitter that I'm adding to the center with the purple. So whatever application you guys see me doing here is all the application. I don't go in and cap with clear after this. So the glitter mix that I'm using on the center with the stars, I use Lilac Lolly as the base of it. And then I got those purple stars, is just like a loose glitter I have. They're just purple stars. I tossed those in there. And then there is a glitter mix from Profiles Backstage called Hocus Pocus. And I tossed some of that in there too. And that is where the little purple shimmer and kind of see-through yellowish hexagon glitters are coming from. And I did stars again because I just didn't want to do hearts. I didn't want to do butterflies. I know I just did stars with 4th of July, but this is a completely different way to use the stars. And I wanted the set to be simple and really beginner friendly and user friendly and all of that. So, and it is. This is really just application and some stickers. Besides the French, I mean, Frenches were very, very intimidating to me, and now I'll be back to them being intimidating because I'll have to do them with my left hand. But I've done it. I've done it before. I've done French with my left hand on my right hand. But anyway, back to that. I want you guys to notice the perfection of this acrylic. I mean, look at it. It lays itself. It's just so gorgeous. I don't show you guys filing or shaping in this video. Please mention to me in the comments as well if you do want to see that. I've done a few videos where I do include that, but typically I don't. Well, it might be something as part of the getting my hand back to normal series that I'm going to try to get into. I'm going to have to learn how to e-file and hand file. Well, like I said, I've done it before when I've done my non-dominant hand, or used my non-dominant hand, but I mean on the regular basis. I mean, you get better with things, right? People who lose, and I'm not saying this has happened to me, but people who do lose the use of one hand, they just get better with the other one. So even though this is temporary, that's just what I'm going to do in the meantime. So I'll get good at Frenchies with my left hand. It can only be a bonus, right? And I was going to say that when I was talking about I don't show filing or top coat, and I don't think, or no, bling either. I don't show that either. After the nails, when I come back and the nails are shaped and filed right before top coat and the design, I do show you guys how to prep a Kolinsky brush. So if you're interested in that, hang around and I will walk you through that. Because before I knew this trick, I did ruin a Kolinsky brush, not knowing this. And Kiara had made a video, I don't know, probably a good year or more ago, and she had showed all the things that I had already tried except for one ingredient. And I was like, oh, that's it. Because she had a frayed brush that she was fixing. And you know how you can fix your liner brushes by putting them in hot water? Well, I think it was Drea, but someone said that they heard about that trick and they did that, used the hot water fix trick on all of their brushes, including their Kolinskys. Now, some liners are Kolinskys, but she meant her acrylic Kolinsky brushes, and she said she ruined them. So, if you guys don't know that, learn from her mistakes and don't ever put your acrylic Kolinskys in hot water thinking you're going to fix them from being crooked or frayed or anything. But I will show you the tricks after this. Alright, so I'll talk more about that when we get there. So, you guys, I want to know in the comments if you guys know, any of you have any rental properties. Do you own any apartments, houses, condos, townhomes, whatever, any property that you rent out to others, whether it is furnished or unfurnished, whether you use Airbnb or not, rent it out yourself, use a property management company to rent your property for you and you're hands off, let me know, because I'm going to pick your brain if so. We found a house down the road, literally 5 minutes from here. It takes 5 minutes in the car. It's on the same exact road as us. It's set back from the road and is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with 4 acres. And we are in the middle of closing right now. We should close in the next, let's see, what's it, 10 days or so. And once we get possession, the house is move-in ready as far as there's nothing wrong with it that you can't live in it, but it needs updating. So we are definitely going to do the floors, paint everything. So we're going to redo the floors, paint everything, add a washer and dryer. That's the only appliance it doesn't have. And get some furniture in there. And those are our immediate fixes. After we start earning some money from it, from renting it, we will then, in between renters, do more upgrades as we go, like replace the cabinets. They work fine, but they're outdated, and obviously we're going to get more money renting it, the nicer it is. So we're just going to get it acceptable looking now. When we first moved here, there's a lot of people move here for Raytheon, Lockheed, Element. There's just a lot of missile defense companies in this area. And they are expanding and growing and moving engineers and people here all the time, which is why we moved here, even though it's a very small town. Well, since it's a very small town, and all the towns surrounding it are also small towns, there are no rentals. When we got here, we were paying $4,000 a month for an Airbnb. It was the only furnished place we could find, and we needed furnished because all of our stuff was in storage. I mean, when we moved here, we drove across country and had a moving company place all of our items in a storage unit. It would have been impossible, especially because the first week we got here, we were in a hotel. We didn't want to drag out our furniture. We were looking to buy a home. So we didn't want to move our furniture into a vacant place and use our furniture and then have to move again, you see? So we needed a furnished place. The furnished apartments were available, yes, with a 12-month lease. Nothing shorter. No month-to-month, no 6-month, and that is in all 4 surrounding towns, anywhere in a 45-minute radius close to her work. Again, we found one spot that was in a terrible, absolutely terrible, almost turned me off Arkansas part of a town that's not this town that we live in, but close to here. Horrible. And so a terrible area. It was very outdated. None of the cabinets closed. The couch was old and dirty. And it was $4,000 a month through Airbnb. And they were getting it, hands down. Houses for rent, furnished houses for rent, not a thing. Not happening. We couldn't find a place to live, so we were in a hotel that was literally $1,000 a week. And then in the Airbnb was the same price, but at least we had, a couple of bedrooms and a backyard for the dog instead of being on the 3rd floor of a hotel. And those were our choices. And again, that is in all 4 surrounding towns that are anywhere near all the industry where all of these places are. So I know there's a need. We encountered the need badly ourselves. I have talked to a couple of, the inspector that inspected this house that we bought and then just inspected the new house. He knows 2 people that have Airbnbs right here in our little town. And he said they're absolutely never empty. Never empty. And I know a woman that I've met since we lived here that her and her husband own the cows that are across the street in the field across the street from us. And I'm always calling her to tell her that one of them is stuck on the other side of the gate or whatever. So I talk to her frequently. And she also has a little like guest house at the front of her property that I didn't realize was a rental until I was telling her about our plans with this house. She has had that rental for 10 some years, and it's furnished, and it's just a little brick house, like a little brick guest house. It's absolutely adorable, you know, on her property. And she said it's absolutely never, ever empty. So I know there's a need. I know we can fill it, but I have questions. I don't really feel like giving Airbnb any of my money when I know it's going to rent. So I want to do it myself. But I have questions if any of you know, if you've done this before. I don't anticipate renting to anyone that isn't coming here, like for the aerospace industry, for the missile defense industry, like people who are engineers who, you know, obviously are reputable or wouldn't have that type of job and wouldn't be being moved here by a huge corporation. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying I don't think I need to do credit or background checks, but at the same time, I don't plan on renting to anyone I don't think can pay. And I know that that's not something you can judge just by looking at someone. But so that's where I get a little bit stumped. Like, how much do I go on common sense, and how much do I rely on like agencies? Like, do I need to hire or use a real estate agency that helps, that does property management for rentals, and make sure everybody has an application and a deposit and a credit check and like all of that? Or can I do a little more winging it? Or is that completely I know that can be disastrous, but I just feel like if I'm renting to the people who are moving here specifically and particularly for that reason, and not renting to local families who just got kicked out of their apartment and need a place, like, obviously that's not who I'm renting to. I'm literally going to be renting to people who are moving here out of state who are in the same situation we were. And the way I'm going to have a pipeline into that is because Ness knows from work we're hiring a new engineer, and him and his family are coming next September or whatever it is, like that. Plus she'll put the word out. And I know everything around here goes word of mouth. And talking to Barbara, who has the rental, she's never advertised once, and she doesn't use Airbnb. It's word of mouth. So, and that's how things go, you know, in a small town. As soon as I have a rental, people will know about it because there aren't any other rentals. So I'm not really concerned with advertising or giving Airbnb any of my money, but I am concerned about vetting renters, and I am concerned about my rights. Like, I'm going to have to do research. Obviously, I'm sure that's different for every state, but I would love to know in the comments any experiences you have had with this, or any experiences that your mother-in-law had, or anybody else that you know of. Give it to me. I want all your stories, please, in the comments. I would love that. Thank you so much. All right, so for the nails, we are done with the application, and this is application only. Getting a gander at it. This glitter looks so cool, and I just love the way it reflects that purple. Oh, and I've had this glitter forever and never used it. And it also has little tiny stars in it itself. I added stars to it, but it has stars in it, so that's why I'm doing stars again. And I'm also basically doing the same design I did on the 4th of July nails, where I use those star stickers as a stencil. All right, so we're going to be into prepping an acrylic brush. You're going to use alcohol. This is 90%. The jar says 70%, but I refilled it with 90. Where your crimp is at is it's what's going to dictate how you do this. Do not do anything I'm showing you against the crimp. Do it in the same direction as the crimp. So this is alcohol, and I'm just going to gently press this brush at the same angle as my crimp into the alcohol and get it wet. And then I'm going to pull it out and let it soak just for a second, because the alcohol is going to loosen the glue. And this is what you do not want to do. When you get a brush that has glue on it, do not do this with your fingers and separate the bristles. Don't do that. You're going to end up with this. If there is too much glue, Now, I've done that to a new brush and it not ruined it. But if you encounter a brush that has too much glue, or glue that's of a certain kind that's too sticky, your brush will end up frayed and you will not get it back. Or if you guys know of a way to get it back, please let me know, but I know boiling water isn't the answer. And that brush that I just showed you, yes, I cut it because I made an ombre brush out of it, but I tried this with it. I tried the alcohol with it and it didn't work. So this is only rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, yes, will dry out your brush. So we're going to condition it afterwards, but only with monomer. So you saw what I did was I loosened up these bristles very gently. I let it soak just for a minute. Everything I'm doing here still with the direction of the crimp. Don't go against your crimp. And what I'm showing you here is I'm washing it in the alcohol, spreading out the bristles into a fan, and then spreading it into a fan on my paper towel, but again in the same direction as the crimp. I'm never going to place this on the paper towel against the crimp because you're also training your brush right now. The reason I'm spreading out the bristles, you'll see right here how much glue is still left in between all of these bristles. Now that I have the glue out and I have got some alcohol in it and I've got it loosened up, it's okay to separate the bristles a little bit with your fingers like you saw me doing there, because it's softened now, but don't do that before you've gotten this wet. I only say that from experience. I may be saying something that's not true, but from my experience, this is what works. So I'm going to wash, wash, wash. I usually go through about 3 full dappen dishes of alcohol before I get the glue out. There's way more glue in there than you think. I also don't know what happens if you don't get all or most of the glue out. I suppose it comes out eventually after a while of using it. So I don't know why you would have to get all the glue out. I'm not sure in particular, but I know that your brush doesn't work properly if monomer isn't able to seep into all of the bristles. Just like it won't work properly if you have acrylic stuck in it. You want the bristles to be able to be like separate. You want them to be able to each be separated. After every few washes, I will check it again. You can see there's way less glue in it, but you can still see the little strings of glue down at the bottom. So I need to mostly work on what's closest to the ferrule of my brush, which is the metal part where the crimp is, where your bristles are attached, okay? So I just keep doing that. I keep doing it. Like I said, it usually takes me about 3 full dappen dishes of alcohol of doing this and doing this and doing this until it's over, until it's gone. And that's it. Alcohol, spread it out, pull it through the paper towel. Once I feel like it's out and I can very well see, I'm going to pull it and train it into the position I like a brush. Some people like their brushes kept oval. I like mine nice and flat and fanned out like this. So this is how I'm training it while I'm prepping it. And when I'm done with it, I'm going to shape it in that way to let it quote-unquote dry. It doesn't really ever dry, but you know what I mean. Now I'm putting it in monomer and doing the same thing. I'm going to, monomer will condition your brush. I don't really know if there's oils in monomer, but I think there is. But you don't want to put, I see some people put cuticle oil on their brushes to condition them. And that's fine. I'm sure that it works. I've never tried that just because oil and nails and oil and monomer and acrylic is just like they don't go together. Right here, I want you to see how the bristles are dull. You don't see any shiny bristles in here. You don't see light reflecting off any of them, and you can see at the tip, the bristles get a little darker. This is a really, really good indicator that this is a 100% Kolinsky brush, okay? That went by fast, so I probably didn't say all the things I wanted to say, but basically, after that, I just only ever put monomer on my brush after that. I never ever put anything else. So I use alcohol on it once when it's brand new and never anything else but monomer again. Right here I'm just showing you guys how these edges are just a little bit crusty, and these are edges if I were doing a client or if this was a permanent set, I would have worked on a little bit harder and made look more flush and perfect. But since these are pop-off, and I know that part of my pop-off method is what's causing that weird look at the cuticle, I'm going to leave it because if I keep working at it, I'm actually going to break my pop-off seal. So although it doesn't look finished, to you guys, I know from experience if I keep messing with that, I'm just going to pop it off. I also know that when I put on my top coat or cuticle bling, that will disappear and you won't be able to see it. So just wanted to mention that if you guys are doing pop-off method and you see your nail looking like that, leave it alone. Put a cuticle bling, make sure your top coat like sinks in right there and you'll be fine. So right now I'm taking like a lavender, can't think of the word, gel. It's not just called a gel, but liner gel. Lavender liner gel with some black because I want a really deep gray purple, like a plum. I want the color I use to be plum. And I can't remember if I mix this up again or if I just did it in front of you guys. Yeah, first I made it too dark and then I added a little more purple. And then I'm going to pull out some of this Sean Legend white gel polish. This isn't gel liner, it's just gel polish, but since it's so thick and so pigmented and so white and luscious, I love using this for my Frenchies. And then I'm going to use the best liner brush ever, which it matches its name, you guys. Oh, I wish they sold these separately and not just in the Tao kit. But I'm going to do kind of similar to what I was doing with my brush when I was prepping it. And I'm going to spin the bristles, fan them out until every bristle is separated and saturated with this gel. And then I'm going to pull a lot of it off so that it just has the perfect amount on it. Real quick, I do want to mention that the brush that I prepped was from JC Beauty Concepts, size 8. It's a new brush I got. Tabitha mentioned it to me. I have been wanting one of those brushes for a long time, but they're always out of stock. And I do have my favorite 3D brush that you guys see me using a lot for 3D flowers is from JC Beauty Concepts. And every time I go on their website, their Kolinsky brushes are sold out. This particular one in a size 8 that I've been wanting has definitely always been sold out. And she messaged me saying that she was buying one, and I broke my kneecaps to get to the website because I didn't know they were in stock. So that's where I got that, and or why I've wanted one for a really long time, and I've used it a couple times. I love it. Let's see, what else was I going to mention to you guys? Oh, this best liner brush ever. It definitely is the best liner brush I've ever used. I've mentioned this before, but it's the only liner brush I've ever used that adheres to the nail and doesn't lift off when you're trying to do your smile line or do, let it adhere to the curve of the nail. It doesn't lift off. Excuse me, there's a bug flying on me. Pardon me, guys. Yeah, but this brush you can only obtain by, it comes in the Tao kit. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, let me know. I'll link it for you. But they aren't selling it separately at this time. It comes in a kit. Let's see, what else we got going on? Okay, so I'm doing a couple of Frenchies. I'm going to cure them in my lamp for 60 seconds. I'm sure you guys all know that when you are curing a darker colored gel, you need to make sure to go in thin and you need to make sure to cure it all the way. Well, it's the same with a white. White is also very pigmented. Whenever I take cured gel out of the lamp, I always take a lint-free wipe and some swiper alcohol and wipe off that nail, because that will tell you if you have any that is uncured, number one, before you start going in with your design and have a disaster. And it will remove any that kind of didn't cure. Like sometimes there's that immersion layer. I always say that wrong. It's not called immersion, but inhibition layer, which this gel doesn't have, but just make a habit of doing that. I'm going to take this sponge and I'm going to saturate it with this purple. I've put those star stickers on that I'm going to use as a stencil. And this little sponge I'm using, it's just a sponge, so you can use a makeup sponge, but this is from Profiles Backstage. And I am taking that gel that I mixed up. I wanted it to be darker than the purple on the nails, but it ends up kind of being, almost blending. I should have made it much darker or used a different color. But I liked these. They came out pretty, but what I liked the most about them was kind of the window of the Frenchie showing the glitter. So I kind of would have liked it if I put Frenchies on all of them and left all the Frenchies white. That would have been cute too. But my idea was to do like a lighter pink up right here where I'm going, a lighter pink up toward the cuticle, and dark pink. What am I talking about? Pink. Purple. and cure it, and then go in with another layer, but only at the tip to make the tip darker. So to kind of ombre the gel so that it's darker at the tip. I see other people doing that. You're supposed to do it in layers. That didn't work for me. It did get a little bit darker on the edge, but it was just like too, maybe I was using too much. So I stuck it in the light, and now I'm going in with my darker to try to make the tip ombre, which I just mentioned was what I was trying to do. But it just wasn't, maybe I didn't have enough room. I don't know. Also, okay, so I've cured this, and now I'm going to peel these off, which leaves white. Also, on this nail, I forgot to take a cleanup brush and remove all of the purple gel that I had daubed onto the acrylic that doesn't have the Frenchie. So on the second French, I do remember to do that, but I didn't realize so it had already cured that I made that mistake. Can't really see it that much, though. It doesn't really show. So I'm just going in with the top coat here because this nail is done, besides a couple of stickers and some bling. I want to show you guys this. You know how we're supposed to clean up our edges? If you have a coffin nail, or if your gel, your top coat's ruining your shape, literally do that. Right there, take it off. And then turn your nail upside down and get all that gel rolled to the top. And do it again while it's upside down. You see right here where I'm taking it off the sides? Since it self-levels in a second, you won't be able to see that you wiped it there. But you're literally going to save your shape. You see that little bit that I'm taking off there? Try that if your top coat's ruining your shape, because I struggled with that for probably 2 years. And on all my clients. I didn't learn that till after I was done taking clients. And nothing is more frustrating than working for hours on your shape to have your top coat ruin it. So I'm just going in with top coat here, you guys, and I'm going to use this disco liner to outline a couple of the nails, and I'll be right back. Alright, so before I cure this is what I was mentioning on the last one that I forgot to do, is just go in with a cleanup brush of your choice and some alcohol or swipe to get this gel off of your acrylic that doesn't have the Frenchie on it. Which I'm just surprised that I couldn't really see that on the other nail. Also, these stars that are kind of hanging off the edges, I don't care because I'm peeling them off. And then you also saw me, of course, do this Frenchie. I cured it and stick on a couple of stickers. I just wanted this set to be easy. People are talking nowadays about maximalist and minimalist nails. I guess minimalist are just when you do a basic set, which I told you guys before, I would love to just do a basic set sometimes. I think that's what you guys are going to see me doing with my left hand, probably pretty frequently coming up here. But yeah, after these stars come off, this is so simple, such an easy design. If you, one thing I will mention is if you're going to try this design, you see how hard these stickers are to come off, and I hadn't top coated them or anything. You need to have a sticker that lays really flat and that adheres really well, or when you go in with your smudging and your sponge and all of that, it will seep under the edges and ruin your design. You won't have a crisp design under the sticker when you peel it off. So I'm just putting a couple more on, kind of to disguise my natural nail area. Do another glitter outline. I'm going to put on some bling off camera. Do some cuticle oil in my final pictures. And I do want to mention, I learned a trick from Zulay, and I'll show you guys in a second. But I always take, now I've heard monomer, I've heard swipe, I've heard acetone, and I've heard alcohol to clean off your crystals. I get the best result with alcohol, but I did hear Gabby say that just to use a lint-free wipe with nothing, and that gives the best result. So next time, I only learned that today, and I did this set a couple weeks ago, so next time I have crystals to wipe off, I'm going to try that. And then, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the glitter outline I did on the very free edge, I did it a little bit thick, because at the end of every set now, instead of using my hand file to try to square off my free edge, I've been using my drill bit like Zulay does, and it gives such a crisp look. So I just turn my bit way up to like 22, 25, 27, and I will literally shear off the end like you're going to see me do here. So that's why that's why I made the glitter outline on purpose a little thick, because I knew I was going to be taking some of it off. And I used to, on clients, definitely still I would do this, but on these pop-off sets I don't. But I used to measure cuticle to cuticle to see if my lengths were all the same. So in other words, I wouldn't just go in like this and take off some of the bottom of this one and more or less off the bottom of that one without measuring. But since they're so long, you can't really tell. I never notice anymore. I just realized talking through this that I don't do that anymore. If it were a client, I would be doing it. But I don't know, this just gives such a crisp free edge. And so that's it. That's the end of the set, you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.